Good evening and welcome to Up South. Our top story today is from Telangana, where the media, if the tone and tenor of Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao is anything to go by, faces a serious threat of being buried. I repeat, buried 10 kilometers deep inside the land of Telangana if it puts out anything negative against the powers that be. Last month, Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao had said that he can be Hitler to prevent wrongdoings in the system. Well, nothing wrong with that. But yesterday in Warangal, he showed that he can be Hitler if the media in Telangana state did not behave itself. What followed was a verbal assault on two offending Telugu TV news channels in particular and the media in general.
Friends from media to have lunch.
The meeting in Warangal on Tuesday was meant to be a tribute to freedom fighter, the late Kaloji Narayana Rao. But what Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao said at the meeting ironically raised questions about the freedom of media in Telangana.
Channel adu channel ama paatarestam jagrata ani cheptam 10 kilometerల లోపల పాతరేస్తాం తెలంగాణ శాసన సభను తెలంగాణ వ్యక్తిత్వాన్ని తెలంగాణ యొక్క అస్తిత్వాన్ని తెలంగాణ ఉనికిని తెలంగాణ గౌరవాన్ని అగౌరవపరిచే విధంగా కించపరిచే విధంగా ఎవరు వ్యతిరేకించినా మెడలు ఇరిచి అవతల బారిస్తాం జాగ్రత్త ఈడియట్ ఆటలు సాగనీయమని చెప్తా ఉన్నాం నేను చెప్తా ఉన్నా రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా అయినా మాకు స్వేచ్ఛ ఉండాలంటే ఉండదు కాక ఉండదు ఇంకా ఎక్కువ చేస్తే ఇంకేమీ ఉండన్నది ఉంటుంది జాగ్రత్త.
KCR's outburst was in contrast to the stand of his government so far, which has been maintaining that the decision to black out two Telugu TV channels was taken by cable operators and not by the TRS government.
మీరు వారిని అడగండి బ్రదర్, మాకు సంబంధం లేని నుంచి మా మీద రుద్దుతే ఎట్లా? మీరేమైనా తప్పు చేసి ఉంటే వారితో మాట్లాడుకోండి, మేము తప్పు చేసాం ఫలానా విషయంలో మమ్మల్ని మన్నించండి అని వారితో మాట్లాడుకోండి, మాకే సంబంధం.
Stung by the Chief Minister's sharp language, journalists of the two channels protested outside Raj Bhavan in Hyderabad. They admitted the program aired on one of them showed Telangana leaders in bad taste. But having apologized, they want the Chief Minister to be magnanimous. If KCR's Warangal speech is anything to go by, they do not have much hope now.
If he asked for freedom of press, is this the way, how is this the attitude, how a chief minister reacts for a freedom of speech from the press? Don't we have a right to ask for the freedom of speech?
The TRS justified KCR's language by saying it represented the anger of the people of Telangana.
This is a colloquial phrase, I said, see, in anger anybody will get it. That doesn't mean that one will be buried. दफन कर दे तुम बोलते थे, दफन करते कैसा ये भी?
ABN channel, which is one of the two channels off air since mid-June, now plans to move Hyderabad High Court.
Most journalists in Telangana admit that the two channels did cross the line. There is, however, no visible support for their cause because the other media fear that similar treatment could be meted out to them should they get into protest mode as well. By muzzling the two channels through the cable operators, the KCR government has demonstrated what it could possibly do, something the media fraternity can ignore at its own peril. With camera person Damodar, T.S. Sudhir in Hyderabad for Headlines Today. Joining me on Up South to debate this TRS government versus media standoff in Telangana is V. Radhakrishna, Managing Editor of ABN TV channel, in fact one of the two TV channels that have been off air for nearly 3 months now. Also B. Vinod, MP of the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, and G. Vivek, former Congress MP who was in fact with the TRS for a while. Thank you gentlemen for joining me on Up South. Mr. Radhakrishna, my first question to you, you have been off air for nearly 90 days now because of what the TRS government believes was a derogatory program against the Telangana legislators. The MSOs, the cable operators have been putting off air. Do you regret having put out that program in hindsight?
So let anybody prove that ABN has telecasted any derogatory program. Since our channel launch, we have not telecasted any program, not only Telangana people, against anybody, derogatory or humiliation or insulting the particular language or particular region or their self-respect. Just why they are clubbing ABN along with TV9, I don't know. What could have been his intention, that only KCR has to tell. I don't know the reason for taking ABN into task.
Right. Mr. Radhakrishna, you must have heard KCR's speech yesterday at that meeting in Warangal. He spoke about burying the two channels, including yours, 10 kilometers deep in Telangana. Now, do you think as Chief Minister, he should have used that kind of language?
He said yesterday, being a Chief Minister, I am warning. That is what the words used by him. So, it is the warning to other news channels also, other media also directly. Suppose if you don't fall in my line, you are also going to be buried like this in Telangana.
Right. Mr. Vinod, you heard Mr. Radhakrishna speaking there. Surely the agitation for Telangana state has ended, and therefore one would expect K. Chandrasekhar Rao to be a bit more restrained with his language. Don't you agree with that?
You see, our Chief Minister, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, he was repeatedly telling that in democracy we should give respect and take respect. He was speaking to the media channels which they have depicted the Speaker of the Telangana State Assembly, the MLAs of Telangana State Assembly and the Chief Minister of Telangana Assembly in such a fashion that they abused the democratic institution of state legislature in filthy language. So that is one of the reasons for which our Chief Minister made a comment that the media should give respect to the institutions of democracy. That was what he said.
Right. Mr. Vivek, would you endorse what Mr. B. Vinod has to say? You have worked with KCR. You know exactly the kind of colorful language that is given to use. Would you agree with what the TRS has to say?
I think the Telangana agitation is over. People are now all over Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh also are respecting the Telangana sentiment, the Telangana culture, the Telangana language. And I have seen in most of the channels, actually speaking in Telangana has become a way of life. So if the media wants to belittle the Telangana culture and the Telangana way of speaking and all, I think media also should be under a little bit of a control. But for the Chief Minister to threaten the media saying that I will bury you 10 feet down, I think that language should be little controlled. If not, the balance which is required in a democracy between the media, between the politicians, the judiciary and the executive, if this balance is disturbed, then I am sure things will go against, it is not in the interest of the people and democracy. And I feel there should be a restraint between the media and the politicians to see that both go hand in hand and work towards development of the people.
Right. Gentlemen, I would request the three of you to stay on with me on Up South. Earlier in the day, I spoke to Nizamabad MP of the TRS, also KCR's daughter K. Kavita, on what she thought of what the Telangana Chief Minister and her father had to say in Warangal yesterday. With me is TRS MP and KCR's daughter Kavita. Do you approve of that kind of language, 10 kilometers deep, very specific?
Yes, Sudhir, very specific to you. Again, you've been in Telangana for years now. You know what happened between Telangana and the media and everything. You also know how KCR reacts, how strongly does he stand by his people. You know it very well. So to make a point or to prove a point that no insult will be taken towards our motherland is what he was trying to do. And I don't think it is to do with media in particular, but it is to, in general, tell anybody and everybody that we as people of Telangana fought so hard, and you know many kids have died, many children have died in the process. We achieved our state. Now I think you should leave it alone. You should leave us alone is what he was trying to say. The content put out by at least one of the two channels was extremely derogatory. Point taken. They insulted the Telangana elected representatives. But shouldn't KCR, now that he's Chief Minister, be magnanimous? They have been off air for nearly 3 months. They have tendered an apology time and again. Shouldn't the Chief Minister, one, use more temperate language and perhaps show some magnanimity? One thing, see, Chief Minister doesn't become a chief minister just like that. He has to carry his people's aspiration. He has to respect them. He has to make sure that whatever people are feeling down on the village street is reflected. So, and I don't think KCR will shy away from using the kind of language he was using it earlier, because he became a chief minister, first of all. And second thing, I don't think an apology will simply undo everything first. And then the other technical aspect of it is really government has nothing to do with stopping these channels, from being on air. It is between the cable operators and the TV channels.
That is not an argument many people would buy, because obviously now that the chief minister has spoken in this kind of a harsh tone, the cable operators will not even dare put these two channels back on air.
In fact, let me tell you one thing. Yesterday's meeting, when he was headed to Warangal, few of the journalists, of course belonging to Telangana, were staging protests. He simply asked them one thing: aren't you son of the soil? Are you not taken aback by the insult that your channels have, done to us? So they had nothing to say. They couldn't say anything. They are carried away because they are working for that organization. Yes, we understand you need to respect an organization that you work for, but you can't take an insult of your motherland. So he was basically trying to make a strong point that this is not about a comment on the CM.
Breaking news coming in, Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that while he has not exactly heard what K. Chandrasekhar Rao said in Warangal yesterday, he feels that there has to be responsibility with freedom. Mr. Vivek, you heard that bit of breaking news, what Prakash Javadekar has to say, which is a point well taken, not something which the media will find fault with. But at the same time, it is being projected that by criticizing KCR, it's almost the same as criticizing the idea of Telangana. And whoever does that is dubbed as a media person with Andhra roots. How fair is that to the media?
Actually, there is a feeling in the people of Telangana that before the agitation and during the agitation, the media was one-sided, because most of the channels were from representing from the Andhra region and all. They all somehow, it's got ingrained into the people of Telangana that the media is projecting a wrong picture of Telangana. That is why today the Chief Minister is taking advantage that anything against him is projected as anything against Telangana. I think it will take some more time for the people to start realizing that there are two separate issues. KCR by himself, the promises he made for the betterment of the people, whether he is able to satisfy the aspirations of the people of Telangana, is going to be one issue. Second, really whatever criticism is being done against KCR and the TRS party, is it going in the interest of the people or not? I think it will take some more time for people to realize that these are two separate issues. Right now, people are feeling that any criticism of KCR is a criticism of the Telangana. But it's only a matter of time. People will realize, and I hope the media also takes these things into consideration and starts separating both the issues. They need to dealing between both the issues.
Right. Mr. Vinod, do you think KCR as a politician of about 30 years standing, a mature politician, should accept the apology tendered by the two channels and let the channels resume the operations in Telangana state?
You see, KCR or the government of Telangana never banned any TV channels. Today, in Telangana state, those TV channels programs are being viewed by many people through satellites. These MSOs, they got angry and they might not be airing those TV channels. It's none of our business. The state government of Telangana never banned any media, particularly the TV channels or any print media. We are very clear. We never banned. The government of Telangana never banned any media, either TV channel nor print media.
I don't know how many people will actually buy that, Mr. Vinod, that the government had nothing to do with the unofficial ban that is there for the last 3 months on these two channels. Mr. Vivek, what is the Congress line as the opposition party? Are you in favor of this unofficial ban by the cable operators to be lifted on these two channels?
I have seen some of these clippings which led to this kind of a decision, what the MSOs have taken. I think it is a lesson for everybody, both the politicians and the media, that you have to go to a certain extent. You cannot go overboard on every issue, start personally criticizing, do character assassination. I think these kind of things also need to be under control. So whatever the media has already apologized, the government now should take it, and the MSOs also should take this in a right spirit, move forward, because having a healthy media is good for the government and good for the people also. Because then the aspirations of the people are projected on the media. Media also needs to see that only what is genuine is put on the media. And this kind of a healthy atmosphere only will ensure that democracy will be the winner.
Right. Mr. Radhakrishna, Vivek making the point there that lessons have been learned by both the media and the politicians. But you have been off air for the last 3 months. What is the course that you're going to take now?
Fortunately, Constitution has provided so many alternative institutions to get justice. I am approaching court of law. And probably tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I am filing my writ appeal in High Court.